Jambo Rafiki, I'm Elizabeth from Kasiwa82, and I hope you are doing really well. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. It's Tuesday, and I am going to be doing the most recent library haul that I have. It's really an embarrassment of riches, and I have quite a few books here. So, as always, I never remember what I put on hold. It shows up, and then I figured I'd bring you along for the ride as I took some of the things out of the bags. So, first up, and before I start, I will try to link or at least list all of these books down below so you know what I'm talking about. First up, we have Volume 4 of Our Dreams at Dusk. Now, this is by Yuhki Kamatani, and this particular book is a YA manga series. It's a coming-of-age, coming-out story. I really like this. So I've already finished the 4 books in this series. I will talk about this in my next wrap-up. Next up, for the Invisible Cities project, one of the countries for this month is Iraq, and I'm reading The Corpse Exhibition and Other Stories of Iraq by Hassan Blasim. Now, again, I'm about 3 stories into this collection, and as you might know if you've been here on this channel for this year, I'm trying to read more short story collections. One of the things that I'm loving about reading works in translation is I am prioritizing some of these, and they are so good. This one, good, dark, bleak, disturbing. I'll be talking more about that when I finish it. This month is the final book of the seasonal quartet by Ali Smith. This is Summer, and I'm reading it along with a group of people, and the group is hosted by Sarah of Hardcover Hearts. I will leave a link to her channel down below. Love Ali Smith. She is becoming one of my new favorite authors. I have found that this seasonal quartet has gotten better because I think I now know how to read her with every installment. Really loving this one. We're about 2 weeks. Today was our second week check-in. Cannot wait to finish this. It's so hard when you find a book that you're really loving to put it down, and that's what I'm having to do, right? Because we're reading it along at a certain section each week. So really enjoying that one. Then I have The Wrong End of the Table, a mostly comic memoir of a Muslim Arab American woman just trying to fit in by Ayser Salman. So I'm trying to remember where I saw this book. I can't remember, but I seem to remember when I was looking for books set in Iraq. This is one of the ones that came up from the Middle East. Now, it's not in translation, but one of the things I really like about this as I kind of flipped it open is this book has got footnotes. It's got pictures as well. So it's a memoir, and I love when there's footnotes in books, so I'm looking forward to that one. Nnedi Okorafor's new one, RemoteControl. This is a memoir. Now, I've read a couple of her novellas already, and she's incredibly loved. She is a much hyped author. I don't think I have found a work of hers that works for me yet. So I'm hoping this particular slim novella will be the one that I love. I think I've read 2 of her works already. They were okay. I'm not sure what I understand what all the buzz is about, so I'm looking forward to that. If you've read Nnedi Okorafor and you think there's a good place to start with her work, I'd love to hear about it. And I also have, and this is the last in the books that are not comics or art books. This is This Lovely City by Louise Hare. Now, again, don't remember why this was in my bag other than I put it on hold, obviously, but I seem to remember that this book is a historical fiction. Yep, it is. It's London 1950s, and basically it's the rebuilding after the war. It's got music at the heart of the story, and it looks like it's got a Jamaican at the center of this. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm curious if you've read that, what your thoughts were. So, as I said, those are all the books that are in prose form, and rest up. Let's go through the comics next, right? So, Spy X Family. This is the 3rd volume of this manga. It's also a YA manga. I've read the first 2 of these and really enjoy them. They are basically these 3 characters. One's an assassin, one's a spy, and one's a telepath. I cannot wait to see what happens next with this story. As I was looking for books set in the Middle East, I happened to run across this one. It's called Rise, The Story of the Egyptian Revolution as Written Shortly Before It Began by Tarek Shahin. Now, this, I believe, is a set of comic strips that were published in the paper in Egypt right before the revolution there, the Arab Spring. So I'm looking forward to just, again, dipping into this and learning more about that particular author's perspective. Carmen Maria Machado is an author much loved. I have yet to read any of her work, and I figured a good entry point for me would be The Low, Low Woods. This is a comic. It is not YA, doesn't look like. And again, love the artwork in this one. So as I said before, one of the really fun things about using my library system is I have a great system, and I really understand that most people do not necessarily have systems that are as good as mine, because the consortium is amazing. And in terms of all kinds of books, as well as audiobooks and ebooks, they have such a great collection. And I really love that I don't have to buy a lot of these. I can try them out, and if I don't love them, I DNF them and throw them back in the bag. Next up, we have a book called Fights, One Boy's Triumph Over Violence by, it looks like somebody, Christian Gill. His name is covered there. I'm sure there's more on the inside. So this is a junior, so a middle grade comic book about a boy, and it looks like what happens when everything in the world around you wants to fight and all you want to do is be a kid. Really looking forward to that. Next up, G. Willow Wilson, is that her name? G. Willow Wilson. So I have read, she is the author of the Miss Marvel comics, and which I really enjoy, especially the first several installments in that particular comic series, YA. She's also got a comic called Cairo, which I would highly recommend. I really enjoyed that one when I read it. So this is Invisible Kingdom, and the tagline is Follow the Prophet or the Prophet. In a distant galaxy, two women discover an inconceivable conspiracy between the world's most dominant religion and an all-powerful mega corporation. Sounds really good. And I'm kind of loving the artwork and the colors in this particular artwork as well. So I'm really looking forward to those. Contradictions by Sophie Yano. Now again, this is the Eisner Award-winning story of a student figuring out radical politics in a messy world full of contradictions. It's got a quote or a blurb. It's been blurbed by Alison Bechdel and Tilly Walden. So looking forward to it. It looks like very sparse, kind of black and white sketches. So I'm kind of interested in that one. Cruel Summer, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. So this one, I believe, okay, it says the winners of the 2019 Eisner Award for Best Graphic Novel are back with their most ambitious book yet. A sprawling story of fathers and sons, love and crime, and murder. Sounds great. So I like Brubaker. I like his stuff. They tend to be on the darker side, but again, I'm kind of excited to actually get my hands on this one. It's been a while that I've been waiting for that particular copy. Bell Yang's Forget Sorrow, An Ancestral Tale. And this one, it says, when Bell Yang was forced to take refuge in her parents' home after an abusive boyfriend began stalking her, her father entertained her with stories of old China. The history she ignored while growing up became a source of comfort and inspiration and narrowed the gap separating her, an independent Chinese-American woman, from her old world Chinese parents. Sounds really great. The artwork here is, again, black and white, and it has more of a choppy woodblock feel to it. So, looking forward to that one as well. Now, Olga Tokarczuk, I think I'm saying that correct. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2018. She has a picture book out. It's called The Lost Soul. Again, a work in translation, and I don't know anything about this. So, when I saw that she had a children's book out, I thought I would go ahead and give it a try. So, it actually looks like it's got text, not just a picture book. I love the artwork in this. So, very muted palette. We'll see what that one's about. I have Menopause, a comic treatment, and this is an anthology, and I picked it up primarily because Linda Berry, who's a comic artist that I really like, I love her work, is featured in this one. So, and again, Menopause, right? So it says, let me see, somewhere in here, there's kind of an interesting blurb to this. So the Publishers Weekly says, often informative, sometimes moving and ambitious in its frank talk about what is oddly taboo, an inevitable experience for half of humanity. I'm really excited about this. Again, an anthology, so it looks like, each person has kind of a... so the artwork I'm expecting to be different, so that's Linda Berry's style. Very distinctive. I recognize that. Really excited about this one. And finally, I have two huge, massive, heavy books. So let me just hold these up and then I'm going to have to put them down here. This is the Neil Gaiman library. There's volume 1 and volume 2. Okay, so I'm going to put these down. These ones have got, each of these volumes have got 4 complete works. Now, some of these I have actually read before because they were actually published in their own installments. But again, Neil Gaiman is like Sanderson for me. I love some of his work and I don't like others. The difference is, in Gaiman's case, I really love his comics. So his series, a graphic novel series called Sandman, is one of my all-time favorite comic series. It's completed. There's a reboot, but the original, I love it. So I keep reading Gaiman's prose, expecting or hoping and that I'm going to find the right one. They're okay. I don't love them, and I'm just so disappointed by that. I'm always expecting to love him because I love how he narrates when he does his own work. He's also kind of a cool character. So I'm looking forward to, if I can not break my nose when I read that and it falls on me. So those are all the comics that I have. Right now, I'm also, if you follow along on my channel, you know that on Fridays I talk about journals and creative play. So I picked up a couple of collage books. This is called Collage Couture, Techniques for Creating Fashionable Art by Julie Nutting. Now, not exactly my style, but one of the things about these, again, this is where the library comes in really handy. I can pick up a book and get some inspiration and then return it, which is kind of nice. Then secondly, I have Collage, Contemporary Artists Hunt and Gather, Cut and Paste, Mash Up, and Transform. So, looks like an anthology as well. So again, it's, for me, this is about getting inspired to, like I said, I don't necessarily do collage work in a very formal way, but I kind of do my own style, and I kind of love getting inspired by looking at other people's works. And there's something about having a book in front of you as opposed to going online, because as you know, or you might know, the moment you go online, you suddenly find yourself going down rabbit holes and you never come back up and you didn't create anything. So this one is Collage by Women, 50 Essential Contemporary Artists by Rebecca L. Zegi. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. Again, women artists don't get as much press in general, historically, as well as today, as men do. So I'm kind of interested in this particular collage work, anthology of collages by women. So that's what I have for you. It's a lot of books here. Again, the thing about comics is they go by really quickly, right? And collage books, or nonfiction / art books, I tend to dip in and out of. So again, those will take me a little bit longer. But I will probably get through most of these in the next several weeks as usual. And if you have read any of them, I would love to know. If you have any one of these that you would recommend I put further up or higher up on my short-term TBR list, I would love to know. If you actually did not like one of these that I've mentioned and put that back in the bag, don't waste your time. That would be a helpful tip as well. So I hope you're doing well, and until I talk to you next time, happy reading. Bye.